Sometimes we get so with the blinders on what point we're trying to make. And, you know, if I'm not seeing something, let me know. I'm not just trying to... Hey, it's Lance McGowan here, and today I wanted to share with you a comment that I got on one of my YouTube videos about a guy who didn't like the word essential oils. What? Alright, so here's the conversation that I had with a guy who left a comment on one of my YouTube videos, and here's what he said. The name needs to be changed. Period. Essential oils makes it sound like you gotta have them. You don't. Concentrated plant oils would be more accurate. Nor are they natural. The definition of natural is occurring in nature without human intervention. End quotations. He's using quotations a lot, so if you see that, that's not me, that's him leaving all of that. So, and essential oils fail to meet that definition. They may be derived from a natural source, but are concentrated by man beyond anything nature has to offer. He going in, but so am I. Alright, so there are two red flags, he says, from the start. Their name and the false claim that they are natural. Peace sign, but he don't mean peace. It's about to get, you know what I'm saying? Let's call them for what they are. Unnatural concentrated plant oils. Okay, well that was what he led off with in the first comment. So I was just on one of my videos and I was just like, oh snap, you know what I'm saying? Alright, so here's what I said. Thank you for the perspective and feedback. Essential means your body doesn't produce it. Natural means nature made it. Therefore, essential oils are potent aromatic compounds that nature made and man/woman steam distilled or cold pressed for the use and benefit of others as a safer and less expensive option to synthetic chemicals with side effects, resistance buildup, and liver and kidney toxicity. Okay, so we dropping some knowledge, all right? We trying a little bit of semantics going on with him not liking definitions, and semantics is just saying the same thing, but in a different way, right? You can call it essential oils, or you can call it unnatural concentrated plant oils. Both are basically trying to say the same thing, which is it's an oil that comes from a plant, and roughly 10% of the plants in the world have essential oils. And I'm going to refer to it as essential oils because that's the definition I agree with. Okay, all right. So then I go on to say, the only red flags I see is one, only following one definition without considering others in a reasonable and objective way. Let's be real, okay? And number two, not holding synthetic chemicals used for traditional health purposes under equal or greater scrutiny for safety, price, and effectiveness. Okay? Right? So it's like if you're going to go in on essential oils, you got to go in on everything else. You can't just be, you know, blinders on, right? We got to be objective, you got to look at both sides of the coin, not just one side that you like or don't like. So here's what he said in return. So this was a lot of back and forth. I was like, usually when I leave a comment like that, they're just like, whatever, this mother. But this person, he was trying to respond back. We was having a discussion, an actual discussion, and not, shots fired type of stuff, but just like, we were exchanging verbal soft blows to one another, right? It wasn't hard blows to the head for a knockout or nothing, right? You feel what I'm saying? No? Okay, well, anyways, here's what he said. He said, Lance agreed. What? Okay, I mean, he then says natural means nature made it, such as wild berries growing on a mountainside, but the highly concentrated end product in that little bottle of EOs does not exist in nature. Nature provided the materials, and it was created through human intervention. If distilling and concentrating plant hydrocarbons, okay, we're going into biology now, like chemistry up in here, fits a person's definition of natural, then by the same definition, jet fuel is also natural. Okay, so now he's using outside examples to help illustrate his inside point. Well, let's see what I said back in return. I said, thank you for the rebuttal. All right? Gotta thank the people. I hear what you're saying, but almost everything you know and see from a plant, liquid, or solid standpoint has been minimally processed, overly processed, hybridized, filtered, domesticated, or otherwise tampered with by man in some way, shape, form, or another. Let's keep it real, okay? Now let's give some examples of that, because you're probably like, what just happened right here? Alright, so this includes food crops, our water supply, water dams, landscaping, plastics, dogs, cats, and the list goes on, right? There ain't a thing that you can see around you that man hasn't touched in some way. So to point out or cherry pick essential oils is just that. It's pointing out and cherry picking essential oils. Or in his terminology, unnatural concentrated plant oils, which we're not going to go with that definition. And then I go on to say here, man's touch on things doesn't automatically make something bad or unnecessary, since it's all about context. Okay? So he ain't the only one that can use quotation. Right? Alright, I said, moreover, just because something is natural doesn't mean it is always beneficial. Poison ivy is natural, but not helpful to humans. However, jet fuel is overly processed fossil fuels for the use of jets. Okay, so they specific processing for specific purposes. The difference with jet fuel is that it's not a dietary supplement, and it isn't safe or effective for internal consumption by humans, topical application by humans, or aromatic use by humans, right? So it's kind of like you're comparing not even apples to oranges, it's like apples to rocks or something, right? It's just like, or maybe apples to dinosaurs, because that's how fossil fuels kind of. You see where I'm going with that? No? Alright, we're going to work on that. I said, again, it comes down to context and having an objective perspective. It seems like you have a need to be right or win. Okay, he can go in, so I'm going to go in too. At least we're just trying to keep it real on this one. So you can have it. That's what I told him. I was like, you can have it. I'm not here for sport or competition. I'm here to speak the truth, seek understanding, and educate others on the benefits and uses of natural solutions, including but not exclusively to essential oils. Right? There's lots of things that can help people with their health. Essential oils is just one way. If you don't like or agree with essential oils, that's fine. However, looking at things from all sides objectively, okay, would help facilitate a more reasonable discussion around the facts versus using extreme examples to prove a point that is not grounded in reasonability. We going in too. I told you we was going to go in on them. All right, because it's not just one way. We're going to have a discussion. Okay? Here's what he said. It is very reasonable to call them plant oil concentrates because that's what they are. I find the word essential to be very misleading. It's all about the money, Lance. Take away the financial motivation and nobody will care about concentrated plant oils. Just my unbiased, he didn't use quotation, but I did on that one, unbiased opinion. I have no conflicts of interest, he says. Okay, now let's, hold on. Okay, here's what I said in return. Calling them plant oil concentrates is semantics or saying the same thing in different ways. That's the truth. I hear what you're saying about financial motivation, but a profit motive is how all businesses stay in the game long term. The hope is that they offer quality products, services, and or competitive prices to make sure the consumer receives the value they're looking for, and more importantly, what they paid for as well. I mean, even if you look at nonprofits, they need donations. They need money to stay alive. Overhead costs, salaries, you know what I'm saying, like research, wherever that research goes. That's a whole nother story. And then you have corporations and companies and mom and pops and franchises and network marketing, affiliate marketing, information marketing. They have to have sales because after their costs to do business, that leaves some profit. And hopefully that profit is enough to continue to reinvest in other businesses or, you know, whatever it is. And they got to also pay taxes on top of that. I mean, come on now. Let's be real. If you weren't being paid for what you do right now, would you be doing it? I mean, you could say, well, I love what I do, Lance. I would do it no matter what. But the reality, when you look at statistics, most people in their current jobs today do not like what they're doing. And when I say most, the statistics I've seen is like at least 60 to 80% of people. And it just varies on which study you're looking at. But most people, because most is 51% or more, most people do not like what they do. So they would not do what they're doing unless they were getting some yes in return for what they're doing. For the folks that do what they love, a lot of times you got to do it for free until you start seeing results and money as you help more people. Then your money starts to increase too as a side effect, and that's because you offer value. But either way, money has to be made so you can pay the bills, so you can pay yourself, so you can pay your taxes, so you can pay whatever you need to pay to continue to stay in business. So profit motive, we got to consider that. And I think, again, it's looking at the bigger picture. And that's, again, what my intent is. Because I think sometimes we get so with the blinders on what point we're trying to make. And, you know, if I'm not seeing something, let me know. I'm not just trying to say, like, hey, he's not looking out at the bigger picture. If I'm not looking at the bigger picture, let me know. Like, I want more perspective. I want to be more objective. I want to come to accurate conclusions. But at the same time, if somebody is going in on somebody about something, these concentrated plant oils that he calls essential oils, okay, that's the name, essential oils, then let's agree to disagree on the name, but let's also look at other things that he's not considering, okay? All right, so then he then says, people can name them what they want, but what's in that bottle is concentrated plant oils. That's what he ended with. And then I finally said, I agree. More semantics than anything. And that was it right there. That was the final comment. This is a long little back and forth because usually, like I said, most people just give up after the first Lance made a comment. Because I'm not like, you probably noticed like other YouTube channels, like most of the time if people have comments and they're a YouTube creator, they don't comment back. That's the first thing I noticed. And then the people that do comment back, you know, maybe they leave like one comment response back or something. Nah, I mean, as long as I get the notification and I can respond back to everyone that's already, you know, left a comment, then I will, because it's important that at least people feel heard and understood, even if they don't like or agree with my content or delivery. That's a whole nother topic, right? But you can at least feel heard and understood with what I'm going to come with you with. And my goal is, again, to help people see the bigger picture, have more perspective, and come to accurate conclusions, because that is what is going to help you in life, not just in a YouTube comment section. So what's the lesson learned? You may be saying like, okay, Lance, thanks for the back and forth, but what's the moral of the story? Moral of the story is sometimes you just got to agree to disagree with somebody and keep it moving. But at the same time, I have such an education focus that it's important for me to respond to people, number one, make sure they feel heard and understood, but also help them try to see the bigger picture. But, you know, at the end of the day, this guy, he's going to believe what he wants to believe, and that's cool. Like, the goal isn't to try to convince him, you know, to come over to the essential oils terminology definition realm. It's just like, all right, I see what you believe and what you stand for, and then you see where I come from as well, and you know, we can extend empathy and walk a couple steps in each other's shoes. And at the end of the day, we may not like the way it feels and take the shoes off and give it back to the other person. And we can just keep it moving. Like, all right, you don't like my shoes, I don't like your shoes. And we can just keep it moving. Literally, we can walk the other way. That's fine. I don't need to drag you to force you on to put on my shoes and just push you along the way and be like, yeah, see how good they feel? You know, like, no, that's not... No, right? That's not part of life. And if you're being reasonable, you will focus on the truth and seeking understanding instead of being unreasonable, which is trying to be right and win all the time and blame and shame others for whatever their beliefs are. That's not mature. That's not reasonable. So our goal at the end of the day should try to be reasonable and try to provide solutions for things and not just, you know, point out problems all the time. Anyways, hopefully, you know, you got some value out of that. Maybe gain some perspective yourself. Maybe you could apply some of those principles to your own life. Or maybe you're just like, no, Lance, none of that. Okay, whatever. Whatever you want to do, that's fine. That's it for today's video. Hit the like button if you did. Hit subscribe for future video updates. And most importantly, check out some of the links in the description below so you can continue to get your learn on. And I'll see you in the next video.